Next question. Yes.
How did it feel playing in the Oran High School Host Club, Tamaki, knowing that he was such a ladies' man? I mean,
yeah, it must have been a stretch for you.
Well, I already had a retort, and I'm not even going to say it because I just love you. No, you know what? It was funny because like 15 minutes into recording, we first episode, Kayla and I just started, and 10 or 15 minutes in, she said, you know what, I just thought of something. And I said, what? She said, Tamaki is kind of a mixture of 3 of your more well-known roles. And I said, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, he's got that romantic, soft side like, ladies' man side like Dark Mousy. But then he also has a very intellectual, very articulate side like Phi from Tsubasa. But then he spazzes out all the time like Ed from Full Metal. So when we started thinking about that, we were like, yeah, he's kind of a mixture of all those things. So I love that character. And especially the second half of the series, the last few episodes with he and Kyoya, and when you come to find some of the backstory relating to how they all came to be at the school and in the host club, and Tamaki's feelings about the host club and it being like his family, when you find out about his family, his real family. And I just love that kind of stuff. So it was one of the bigger privileges in a long time to get to play Tamaki. I'll pick something.
You!
Where's Travis and his box?
What?
What's that?
Where's your box?
Where's my box?
Yeah, the one that you said has no problem that you were sitting in on the podcast. Did you bring that with you?
Right. Did that come out already?
Yeah.
The last time I was at Funimation, right before Christmas, the question on the Funimation podcast was, do you have a hard time as a big guy acting in a little box? But I didn't want to do the normal answering of the question, so I went and sat in a cardboard box. And it broke. So, my box is dead. Thanks for bringing it up.
Or you could put a spin on it and say the power of Travis could not be contained.
It was unleashed and the box felt my fury. Yes.
First off, a comment for Vic, then a question for all 3 of you, kind of a couple of different points that have been kind of brought up a little bit. First off, I feel sorry for you a little bit, Vic, because there's no way...
I feel sorry for you too, Vic.
Well, let me explain. There will never be another show that you will ever be able to go to that there won't be one crazed fangirl that will swear that she wants to drink coffee out of your mouth.
That was one of my favorite lines.
Oh, yeah.
You guys know that line from Mora?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're talking about drinking commoner's coffee. You know, these blue bloods only drink the fancy stuff. And so Haruhi comes into the club, and Tamaki's like, I've heard of this. This is the commoner's coffee. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try this coffee. And so one of the girls is like, I'm afraid my father will get mad if I drink it. And Tamaki's like, what if I let you drink it from my mouth? The girl that did this character was perfect. She's like, then I would drink it. It was the most wonderful delivery. Whoever did it, I don't even know what actress it was, but it was perfect.
That's a great line.
But the thing I wanted to talk about with all of you is, you were talking about how opportunities kind of get, in voice acting get more and more sporadic. It would seem that with the economic downturn and with anime's problems, I hate to say the last couple of years, they've been getting more and more sporadic. I've made no secret when I've talked to you individually that you guys are basically about the only thing that's kind of keeping me in anime. I hate to say that, sorry, but it's just, kind of restore a bit of faith that, you guys are still going to be around, as a concept, not necessarily just the individuals.
Well, I'm sure anime will continue. I mean, there's still companies that are doing it, and there's still going to be a market for it, even if there's not as much being produced. But, I mean, all of us are still working outside of anime on, film work and video games. There's a lot of video games. Because even with the economy going down, I mean, video games just keep being made. That's a huge market right now. And so, yeah, we've been working pretty much nonstop, which is great. It's just you're going to have to go travel maybe to another area to hear us or something like that.
And I think Funimation's announced like several titles, I don't know if they have or not, that are definitely going to be very exciting to see. We've been excited to work on them, so there is stuff in the future that is gonna be good.
And do we even need to say
yeah,
the next season of Full Metal Alchemist being produced?
And you won't be dead.
Awesome. But you guys, when we made that show, we had no idea that it would ever go any further than the 51 episodes that it was.
I never thought either.
Yeah, and you know, it was so perfect. It was perfect. They didn't drag it out beyond the point where it was any good, and they ended it strong, and the movie was great. But I think they've got some really good ideas. I don't think they would have come back to it if they didn't feel really strongly about some of the stories they could tell. So we're very excited. Hopefully, we'll all get to be a part of that.
Do you think this movie maybe you can hit when it will be done, if they're actually going to do it, or to have like all the same characters in it, or new characters?
Can't tell you.
We know next to nothing. We know what you know. Quite honestly, we know that it's scheduled to be released in Japan in April. And we've heard that it is supposed to be more based on the manga and the stories in the manga. And if you've seen the trailer, you notice that even the animation style is a little different. It almost looks more like the manga drawings. But that's all we know. That's all we know right now. So, in the back, yes, Bridget.
Can you do Steve Kaku's Lucky Dance?
I wish I could. I don't remember his dance. It's one thing that I've never learned.
Do you know the dance?
I think you do. I tend to think you know that dance.
Why would we want to do it?
You guys, the funny story about the Lucky Dance, real quickly, and I don't want to take too much time away with this, but when I went in to record, Laura and Travis will tell you that almost everything the character does is scripted. Any reactions, any sounds he makes, no matter how big or small, they're scripted. When I got in there to do Ikaku, I was doing his lines, and he's talking to Ichigo about how lucky he is. This is his lucky day that he stumbled right into these intruders. And then he breaks into this lucky dance where he's dancing around and there's music and stuff. Well, here's the funny thing. You know what the script said? Does lucky dance. They didn't script anything. And I was like, this is the first time I've worked with Studiopolis. And I'm like, what do you want me to do here? And they're like, well, we heard that you're like a songwriter and a singer. We thought you'd come up with something. So I'm like, oh crap. All right, go ahead. Let me watch it a little bit. So they put it in a little loop, and I'd watch him do his little, and so I was like writing down, lucky, not so lucky as me, and just making up some lines. And then we did it, and they were, they liked it, and then so we just moved forward. But I didn't even remember, I didn't memorize it. It was kind of on the fly. But so
now you gotta relearn.
Perhaps you should learn the Lucky Dance and do it for us.
We'll expect it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes.
I had a question. I was wondering, as you grow and mature as an artist and do more and more roles, do you start to identify less with the older roles where you could have possibly done better?
Great question.
With the skills you have now?
It's constant that you look back at your earlier stuff and you're like, man, I could have done a better job with that, Because as you progress, you get better at matching timing, you get better at, understanding little nuances, and, when I go back and watch Dragon Ball Z, I, want to kill myself, because it's like so...
Awesome.
It's just, as an artist and as a company, Funimation has grown so much in the quality of their dubs, and what they put out, and so just all these takes that were like, oh my god, we kept that take, what? And it's just crazy. We went back and redubbed some of it for the re-release, because all the voices had changed by the end of the series, and just going back and having to redo Trunks after a 6-year hiatus was very, very strange.